What's going on, good people? Man, look, I'm excited to share the budget that absolutely changed my life. First, let me get a drink. One more. All right. Now I got my little sip in. Man, I hope you guys had a good week, man. It is Saturday, it's crazy, so I'm hoping you guys get to chill out, or if you're working, you're being safe, and enjoying your weekend so far. So getting into it, man, this video right here, I got carried away. But anyway, but this video right here, man, is for people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, people who are living paycheck to paycheck, people who just can't seem to get ahead. You work hard, you grinding in all the scenarios. You work hard, you grinding, and you just can't seem to get ahead. And even for the people that, you're doing okay, or you're doing pretty good, but you know that you can be doing much better. And really everybody in between. Man, if you're new here, my name is C-Nell, that's short for Cornell. On my channel, you will see budgeting videos, you will see investment videos, you will see my Robinhood challenge update videos, in which I do those every 2 weeks. You will also see some funny videos. I think especially these tough times that we're in now, I think everybody needs a little bit more laughter in their life. So if that sounds like something that interests you, if you haven't already, man, go ahead. I don't care if you smash, karate chop, roundhouse kick, elbow drop, or even lightly tap the like button. Go ahead and tap the like button, and if the content that I mentioned on my channel is something that interests you, man, I would appreciate you subscribing to the channel and joining the community. I will be sharing my financial journey along the road to getting to financial independence. The hope is that it inspires people to start that same journey in their life and in their family's life to achieving financial independence, or just giving you that motivation to keep going if you're already on it. Just keep going, keep pushing, keep grinding. And if you did subscribe and if you did like, I definitely appreciate it. Welcome to the community, welcome to the family. Here, I want us to focus on changing for the better, growing and progressing in life together. Without further ado, man, let's get into it. So really quick before we get into it, I have, in my personal opinion, 4 very important questions that I think everybody should ask themselves. And if you're in a relationship, I think you should ask yourself these questions first before you share your answers with your significant other. And personally, I think both of you guys should ask yourselves these questions independently first, and then come together and share your answers. I think it'll be a good experience for you guys, but it really allows everybody to align. But question number 1, what do you really want to achieve in life? If you look around and just close your eyes, no, you gotta close your eyes, especially if you're driving. If you're driving and watching this, please don't close your eyes. Keep your eyes on the road, please. But anyway, what do you want to achieve in life? And as you look around and you think about your goals and your ambitions, or even where you see yourself and your significant other, or if you have a family, what's your vision for the future look like? An honest assessment. What do you really want deep down inside? Forget about what other people think you should do, or how other people feel, or what you see other people doing, because everybody's life ain't for you. Even your family, your friends, everybody, can't nobody live your life but you. So in your independent thought, as you assess your life and assess what's important to you, what do you really want to achieve in life? Question number 2 reminds me of 22, like Emmett Smith. one of the greatest running backs of all time. Not the greatest running back of all time, in my opinion. That's Barry Sanders. I love my Cowboys. Go Cowboys. But question number 2, man. What is your why? I think that's an important question to answer just in life as a whole for everybody. I don't care what your status is, what you believe in, where you from, what kind of job you got, how much you make, all that is irrelevant. What is your why? Why do you do what you do? Why are you motivated? Why are you watching a video on finances and bettering your finances and getting on a budget? What's motivating you? What is your motivating factor? Do you have kids? Is it your new girlfriend or new boyfriend that you just met and they're inspiring you to do better? Is it you have a deeply rooted passion to want to retire early or be able to travel later in life and not have to worry about anything? What is your why? Why do you do what you do? What is the most important catalyst or thing that makes you continue to want to grind and get better as a person and get better financially? Question number 3. Truly, how important is it to you to change your financial outlook in real life? How important is it? Because that's going to be the energy that you give on trying to achieve financial stability or financial independence. And question number 4, real quick, and we'll get into it. What are you willing to sacrifice to reach your goals? What are you willing to sacrifice to get there? I know for me, quick story for me, or more information about me, and my friends and family know this. There was a point where I was working a job. I was making less than 32 grand a year, and I always blamed the money. Man, I don't make enough money, because it was easier to blame the money than me. Of course, we're not gonna do that, right? Standing in truth, with kind of a tough concept to do. Easier said than done, right? But that moment didn't come till later. But anyway, I was working that job and I said, man, I gotta increase my income, which theoretically in life we all want to do. So I did. I was blessed enough to get a second job. So at that point I was working 2 jobs as a medical clerk or a medical receptionist for a hospital. So my day would start 7 a.m. in the morning and I get off work about 11 p.m. in the evenings. But on top of that, I had a third job because I was practicing real estate on the weekends and throughout the week when I didn't work both jobs. But on top of the 3 jobs, I was actually going to school as well. How I did it? Well, again, it goes back to the previous question. If it's important enough to you, you'll make it happen. Could I do it now? I'm 36, y'all. I'm 36 now, still young, but yeah, if I needed to, if it's important enough to you, and you will find a way. We all know that. We all heard the stories of moms lifting cars, all kind of stuff. If it's important enough to you, you'll do it. But anyway, back in the scenario when I was working the 3 jobs and going to school, instead of understanding it was a blessing and an opportunity for me to have increased my income to be able to do more damage and really get a hold of my financial outlook, nah, in my mind, I just leveled up, baby. I just leveled up, yeah. So now I upped my level in quality of living. I had to have the nice place. I had to have the nice car, the clothes, the cologne, the shoes, everything. So I turned what was a blessing almost into a curse, because now I had to work those 3 jobs just to sustain my level of living, my expenses, the things I had going on, and my lifestyle, and all this, that, and the third. It's crazy, man. So again, I think those are 4 questions you need to ask yourself. And if you're single, just ask yourself, write it down and put it on paper so you can see it, right? Me, I encourage you to keep it somewhere that you're gonna see it almost daily. So first part of a budget is actually filling out a budget. So with this particular budget, this is something that I created, and it's just a simple Excel spreadsheet. It's got a couple of formulas in there, not much. Create the formulas and was essentially able just to copy and paste those formulas to the corresponding cells or the other cells. But with this budget, I'm not gonna lie to you, this budget absolutely changed my life. So I color coded some things, and it just allowed me, I sort of looked at a lot of different budgets, and I was able to sort of put myself into this budget by creating my own. But organizing it at the very top, you'll see, you have your income at the top. And again, it starts with work, your main job, if you're blessed enough to have it, even if it's unemployment right now, put unemployment at the top, because you can still budget right now. If you have a source of income coming in, you should be budgeting right now. And I think it's the times that we're in is a further example of why we should be on top of our finances, saving, getting that emergency fund in place, and practicing good stewardship, because we never know. We never know. In my belief, it's not our plan. God has a plan, but he's also given us the power of choice and the ability to be good stewards of all the assets and all the blessings that he does give us. So at the top of the budget, you're going to input your income. And there's a couple lines in there because, tax returns, if you get a second job, if you get a bonus at work, if you're able to have a yard sale and sell some stuff, to me, that goes in there. Also, overall on the budget, you'll notice that this budget, so of course here are the income section here, and this is going to total out here. So, but you'll notice it's broken down bi-monthly. So these are, I get paid typically the 10th and the 25th of each month. What I highly encourage you do is set that up realistically for how you get paid. If it's once a month, if it's every week, change these to every week. So these four here, for example, would be, we're about to start June. So let's say June, your 4 checks in June, your 4 checks in July, etc. And as you see, you can just change the dates on this. Now, you can create this yourself for something like this. But again, this budget, honestly, it absolutely changed my life. I think you should budget on a monthly basis, but I also think that as you get paid, you have to go back and check and make sure you're tracking, or if something's changed. Well, man, I blew those tires, or I blew that tire, I had to buy 2 tires, or this came up, we got to adjust it. But be realistic with your budget. Also, it allows you the ability, when your bills are paid or due. And even in this budget here, before, to be quite honest, for all of my bills, and I've adjusted it just a little bit, but for all of my bills here, I would have the dates in parentheses next to them of when they were due in the month. And then that allowed me, after a while, you just remember, and then you are able to allocate, okay, I'm going to pay this bill on, my 10th check, or, on April the 9th, and rent, of course, is due on the 1st. So I'll pay that on the 24th, or I'll break it up half and half between the 2 checks, however you like to do it, but it gives you the clarity to know when things are due. And this budget is all inclusive, and we'll keep going and covering everything. So now the first section I have is savings. As you build your financial strength, I think your savings section should get a little bigger. To keep it real though, forget about all that investing and all that, extra stuff. Just focus on getting your emergency fund. So if you're watching this video and you want to do something dramatically about your financial situation, forget all the investing and all that kind of stuff. Just get your emergency fund in place. Start with that. And that's 3 to 6 months worth of expenses for you, right? Once you get that in place and you pay down your debt or get out of debt, then I think it's wise to start expanding the savings, and you'll have your long-term savings and investments. Start investing and making your money work for you. But what keeps us living paycheck to paycheck is not necessarily what we have coming in. It's always going to be what we have going out. So again, I think your savings section, once you get your emergency fund in place, then you can start building on short-term savings. But me, with this, I had to self-check myself, and I had to say, you know what? Let me make sure that I'm being realistic with this budget. I want to make sacrifices, because there were sacrifices required to actually change your situation. I'm sorry if you were expecting me to say you don't have to do anything different, and all of a sudden you're going to get your emergency fund, and all of a sudden your financial picture is going to get better, all of a sudden your credit score going to go up. That ain't how life works. I'm sorry. Again, if that's what you were expecting, I apologize. I'm not the guy that's going to give that to you. Now, I'm going to keep it 100 with you and shoot straight. So be specific on your budget. Be realistic. in this savings, be realistic on what it is that you want to do. On here, you'll see I have the long-term savings, and specifically for bigger purchases, purchasing a car, a house, investment property, things of that nature. Additional retirement savings for me, and I put retirement cash for me. I'm never going to be the person to say, oh, it's bad to hold cash. I get the whole, you're losing money on it, inflation, all that stuff. No, I'm old school. I'm going to always have some cash on me. So this is my long-term petty cash account that I'm saving for down the road for retirement, right? And my hope is, again, truly FIRE, but being able to retire early. But just, quickly glancing through, tangible savings. These are for specific purchases. If you're looking, oh man, we need some new furniture. This is beat up. The stuff we got is beat up, or our TV went out. We need a new TV. It's specific savings, so you don't have to wait. As soon as I get my check, now you've exhausted your entire check. Trying to cover the cost of a furniture or the TV, or you're financing furniture or financing a TV, which makes absolutely no sense. Be patient, have that discipline, and go ahead and pay it off. But also trips and vacations. If you're a person that likes to travel or would like to take a vacation, once you get your emergency fund and once you get your debt paid off, in my opinion, at least your consumer debt, and I'd even go as far as to say outside of your student loan debt. Now, I think that should be included, and obviously you see it on the budget. But if you're gonna want to take a trip or a vacation, first of all, it didn't have to be expensive to do that, but be smart about it. Save for that, so you don't have to worry about taking all that money out of a check all at once. Plan for it down the road. Be patient. Set, $20 aside, $50 a check aside, whatever you can afford to save, and set that money aside. Now, the other part of that is being realistic. Look for good deals and be realistic with what you truly can afford. And you have to take your pride out of the way when you do that. Just be smart about it. Don't set yourself up for failure or forego paying a bill just to go on a trip. I'm all about experiences in life, but I'm also all about being fiscally responsible. Go with what makes sense, man. It makes no sense for you not to pay a bill or take food off the table just to go on a trip so you can put it on the gram. It don't make sense to me. Just throwing that out there. But anyway, and then you can get into your investments and things of that nature as you set those up. For Robinhood, again, as I mentioned, I do my Robinhood challenge update videos. And also, if you haven't started your journey with Robinhood or building wealth on Robinhood, and you've already got your emergency fund in place, I will leave the link in the description of the video for my Robinhood referral code. So all that is, I am not affiliated with Robinhood. I don't get a kickback from Robinhood or anything. I love the platform. I think it is very good for beginners. It makes investing into the stock market very easy. In terms of the transaction, it does have a decent amount of information on there, but if you haven't already started, you can go ahead and click my link and use my link. All that's going to allow us to do is for both of us to get a free stock from Robinhood. But I will appreciate the love again. It'll be down in the link in the description below. We'll hop to the next section, housing. Again, be realistic. The idea of this, and this is called a zero-based budget. The idea of this is to name every dollar and put it on paper on purpose, right? Put it on paper on purpose. So let's go ahead and start filling some numbers in just so you can see this as we move down. Say, for example, you make $1,000. So total and this is take home, $2,000 a month. So $1,000 per paycheck you get paid bi-weekly. Your emergency fund, and we'll get to that here shortly. So you have to look at your rent, your water, your cell phone, your cable internet. So as you fill this stuff in, let's say 900. Oh, nope, that would be paid for on the 24th. So say for this check, I don't know, $100. Your cable, $150. Your rainy day fund. So this is me. If you're a homeowner, I highly encourage that you have a savings. You almost have an emergency fund for the crib. In my opinion, I think it's just a mental thing for me. I think, again, all this is about just getting ourselves in the routine of practicing good stewardship. Why not set that money separate from your savings? So that way you don't get in the habit of going into your savings when you need something. You know, at some point, if you're a homeowner, something's going to happen. You're going to need some funds because you got to, replace the or get some fix on the air conditioning unit or whatever the fix may be. So why not allot, $1,000, $500, whatever it is, that your budget can afford, $2,000, $5,000. Okay, we're going to keep that over there. So if something pop off with the house, we good. We don't have to dip into our actual savings over here to take care of that issue. So, and that's what I mean by being intentional. But as you keep going down, your power, your grocery, so you want to put all that in there, whatever your figures are, right? But you'll see at the end, at the bottom of it, it's going to give you, okay, here's the total of your bills thus far. And then here's what you have left over. So once you have input all your bills, and these are all the things that have to be taken care of, and I highly encourage you do that, but put the minimum balance, required balance on each and every one of your bills. So that's the housing section, transportation, your debt. So I say, once you fill those sections out, and that's more specifically, once you initially start your budget, you should put your pay at the top. Skip savings for now. You're going to go straight to housing and straight to transportation and debt. You're going to fill those four sections in. So the pay, housing, transportation, and debt. Once you're done doing that, at the very bottom of this bad boy, you want to look at that dollar amount down here and see how much you have left, right? Here's where the fun starts. If you are not happy with that figure, here's where, as adults, we have to make tough decisions. Again, it goes back to those 4 questions that you have to ask yourself. What are you willing to sacrifice? What on this list can you live without? For example, cable and internet. I know it's hard to live without internet nowadays. I get that. So can you just toss the cable, get a reasonable internet, or find cheaper internet and toss the cable and get, a Fire Stick and maybe a streaming service? The combination of the two seems to work really good. For me, it did. But look at where you can cut back, even down to your living setup. So even if, you're able to house hack or get a roommate to help pay some rent or get a cheaper apartment or go live with a different family member or your homegirl, your homeboy, whatever you can do to make that change. And again, this is not forever. It's just a measured amount of time, right? But you have to be willing to sacrifice. So by doing that, you're going to increase that bottom number and what's left over, right? Then and only then, at that point, in my opinion, you can realistically look at the rest of it. Okay, you want to set your savings up, and it has to be a consistent amount. Now, consistent, I mean, things are going to happen, and not every 2-week period or not every month may be the same. So there are going to be adjustments as you go along. The section here, my allowance. A lot of people hate to hear that allowance. Man, again, put your pride aside. We can care less about your pride. We're worried about the money and getting financially independent, period. So with your allowance, this is when a lot of people say, oh, budget's restrictive. Well, is it restrictive as you want it to be? Be realistic with your budget. Again, if you're not going to follow it. So be realistic. If you look here, I have trips and vacations, which I did forget to delete that because I actually put that up at the top, but you shouldn't be going on no trips or vacations right now. Right now, it's time to put in the work and change your situation so that you can go on these trips and vacations and not miss the money. Enjoy it and be financially strong. But if you got a significant other or you just like to go to the movies or go out, first of all, you're going to have to, again, sacrifice somewhere, but work that into your budget. Instead of going out every weekend, go out, once a month or twice, every other weekend, something. And again, how hard you want to go is up to you. But the harder you go, the bigger the results you're going to get. That's just the fact. But incorporate the things that you're gonna do if you want to buy a game. Now, some of this stuff we're not gonna do every month. You shouldn't be buying clothes every single paycheck. You shouldn't be buying games or a TV or whatever it is every single paycheck. If so, that's an issue in itself. But again, it goes back to looking at the person in the mirror. So if you know, for example, you like to get your hair cut, put that in your budget. Be realistic with your budget. Now, again, even with this section, once you fill that out, you look down at the bottom and you see what the difference is. But the whole point of this is so that you are very intentional with your money. You see what's going out. You can annotate in parentheses next to it when it's due, or you can modify this however you like, you know, but this particular budget for me absolutely changed my life because it made me be accountable to myself, you know, and you see it as you go check by check, month by month. You see it and you have to reconcile those funds, right? And you can stare yourself in the face. And it's funny because over time, the allowance section, I just naturally stopped doing so much of that stuff because it was more important to me to become financially free than, you know, or work towards financial freedom. I'm not there yet. I've got a long way to go, but we're going to do this thing together. But incorporate those things in there. If you got a subscription to Netflix, put that in there because guess what? That's money coming out of your bank account. And a lot of people, I ain't gonna worry about that little stuff. Well, keep it 100, keep it real. And I want you, matter of fact, do this for me. I don't care who's around you. Hold on. I don't care who's around you. Do this for me. If you've ever lived paycheck to paycheck, or some unfortunately are currently there now, but guess what? We're gonna change this and we're gonna do it together. But if you've ever been there and done that before, raise your hand. Put your pride aside. I know I have. I know I have. So in the thing that didn't help us, never helps anybody. Those little small subscription joints, that be the stuff that sends your accounts into the negative. You ever notice that? I remember that, man, okay, I got like $20 left in the bank, or I got $15 left in the bank. Next thing you know, some subscription service done came through and pulled a payment. Now I'm in a negative, and now my bank's charging me an additional fee because I didn't have enough money to cover that, which I hate that banks do that. If folks don't have enough money, but I left it that way because of the simple fact that that's my reminder. How important is it to you to change that? At the bottom, insurance, you know, your car, your renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, or whatever it is that you pay, right? But again, you want to be intentional with your money. But anyway, that's the overlook of the budget that absolutely changed my life. If you want to set up something similar, or even if you use one of the apps, you know, on your phone, let's do it together. Let's grind. Let's change the family tree. But again, it takes that sacrifice and it takes discipline. I'm definitely excited to be able to share that with you guys. To keep it 100, that the budget absolutely changed my life. And my prayer is that, you know, you guys could use that or create something similar to that. Also, I wanted to let you know real quick, this coming up week, I will be covering that goals and debt tab you see at the bottom. That was the other part of my budget that allowed me to truly level up. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you do not miss that video. To do the same, man. I mean, there's no better time than right now. No better time than right now. And if you have not already, again, please go ahead and smash that like button. If you want to see more content like this, or want to check out any of my other videos, and make sure you don't miss any future content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. The one thing I do want to share with people, I know the road can be tough and long, and sometimes you lose motivation to continue grinding and working the plan. I would definitely say, don't give up, man. Keep grinding, keep going. If you need to rewatch this video, or, you know, watch Dave Ramsey, or read The Total Money Makeover, which I highly recommend you read. Millionaire Next Door. There's a lot of books that I would recommend, or having that accountability buddy, whether it's your spouse, whether it's a good friend, a coworker, whomever it may be. So it's time to do something about it, people. It's time to change the way we watch and handle our money. It's time to change to better stewardship, but let's do it together. So I hope you got some value from this video. Again, if you did, please hit the like button, subscribe so you won't miss future content. But with that said, good people, it is your boy, and I am out.